Welcome to the Homo's Journey, where we talk about tarot, oracles, emotional healing, artificial intelligence, and Area 51. And yes, that's right. Today we're going to talk about something a little bit different. So take this with a grain of salt if you wish, but I was listening to a TikTok today, and it was not the first time I've heard that at Area 51, people who astral project cannot arrive there. They can't get there via astral projection. And when I was younger, I tried to practice astral projection and lucid dreaming as well. And I never really got the hang of astral projection, but I did start doing lucid dreaming pretty well for a while. And then I don't really know why, but I gave up. But when I was astral projecting, the one time I did definitely succeed, I went as far as my own room. And I saw myself, just a pretty common story. And the reason I knew it was astral projection was because when you astral project, a lot of times when you're a novice, you can't move your legs. It's like they're in jelly. And that's exactly how it was for me. It was like my legs were in jelly. There was a time I did lucid dream when I was a teenager, and I just tried to visit a friend, and I found myself in a room, an empty room. So I think my friend wasn't home, but I never really could tell if that was just a lucid dream or an astral projection. Needless to say, I've always found astral projection pretty interesting, and hearing these stories about people not being able to get into certain areas via astral projection is really intriguing. There was another TikTok I just saw which described how if you try to project to the moon, there are beings there who will ultimately kick you off the moon. So again, this might be a little bit too out there, too woo-woo for some of you. So if it is, just take it as some entertainment and keep an open mind for now. Just as you keep an open mind while you watch your favorite shows like Star Trek or Charmed or Foundation. It's a really good one that I've been watching. So let's ask the universe, what are they hiding at Area 51? What is the most important secret that they are working on, the most important secret project? And I'm asking the universe to help me get through any blocks, any walls, any barriers around Area 51 so that I can see clearly and easily what's going on. If you would like to see pictures of the cards, please feel free to go to my Instagram, which is at the Homo's Journey, all one word. That's at the Homo's Journey on Instagram. So a lot of times when I'm blocked from being able to see something, it's obvious in the cards. And so what I'm doing is I'm pulling some Moonology cards, and I'm going to make a Celtic cross with them. And then I'm going to pull some tarot, and I'm going to make a Celtic cross with the tarot. All right, so what is the most important project that they are working on at Area 51? Okay, so for the present situation, we have the Five of Swords in the house of full moon and Leo. Don't let pride get in your way. So we're just going to think about Leo. Leo is the lion, courage. They're trying to make super soldiers. Yeah, they're trying to make super soldiers. So with full moon in Leo, which is about confidence, and Five of Swords, which is this guy, he's looking a little bit forlorn at a known scene with a girl who's crying behind him with his sword over. He looks like a soldier. Maybe he was going to battle and he didn't have to because they had already left and they had already won, basically. So this is the United States feeling like there's a good possibility that they will not win something. They will not win in military combat in the coming decades because they feel like they could easily become inadequate as far as their technology. You know, they can easily become overpowered because of the technology that, for example, China or Russia are coming up with. And their military technology could easily overpower the US's if they do not, of course, work very hard on creating something new and very effective in which to take them on. So crossing, we have the lovers, balance spirituality and practicality. I feel like they are not just trying to make super soldiers via genetic enhancement, but they're also trying to breed them. Oh my gosh. Okay. So they're trying not just to manipulate somebody who's already alive, but actually trying to maybe even manipulate people's genes who are already alive in order for them to procreate, in order to make the perfect soldier. This is not where I thought this was going. This is wild. Okay. So underneath it all, we have the King of Cups in the house of the blue moon, believe in the impossible. So this is really telling me that I think we got through. We did get through here. So whether I'm interpreting the cards correctly or not, that's one thing. But at the very least, this spread of cards has the information that we need in order to correctly intuit what's going on there. Okay. But, we'll see. So in the past, we have the 9 of swords in the house of the mutable moon. Nothing is yet set in stone. So just like I was saying, the U.S. has been worried. They have been worried about our future, their future in a military aspect, or even just as a country. They're really, really concerned about the prospects of, climate change is what I'm hearing, actually. So even though they're clearly, complicit in perpetuating climate change as it is and as it will be, there's other parts of the government, particularly, I guess the Air Force is what owns AR-51. In whatever branch of the military owns AR-51, particularly them, they are very acutely aware of climate change and how serious it can be. So maybe it's not just about creating super soldiers. Maybe it's about breeding a new form of human. Wow. Okay. That would be able to better survive in extreme climates. Okay. So we have New Moon and Aries. We have the 5 of Wands in the house of New Moon and Aries. It's time to take action. So the 5 of Wands, there's 2 guys. They look like they are about to fight. But what we learn about in this card is that they're kind of on a sparring match. Like they're not actually trying to hurt each other. So there is sparring going on with these. So I'm getting a few things, right? They're trying to create new versions of humans in general for various purposes, for survivability, for war, and for 2 purposes, for survivability and for war. And for war, they're both trying to genetically manipulate and to enhance the human body for those who are already alive, who are already adults, but they're also trying to manipulate the human body of those who are not born yet, who they're trying to basically create an artificial evolution of humanity. I think we're Homo sapiens 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 right now. I think that's the technical term for us. So they're trying to create Homo sapiens 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 sapiens. If I'm wrong, please correct me. I'm just going off my high school biology right there. But anyway, so an Aries, it's very action oriented. It's the divine masculine of the zodiac. And new moon is when we try to create. Yeah. So this is what they're intending to do now. This is what they are definitely manifesting, is creating a form of soldiers that they can't easily get hurt, creating a new form of people who cannot easily get hurt by the environment, by weapons, by car accidents, maybe. They're just more durable. Reminds me of a really funny scene from Schitt's Creek. If you haven't seen it, you should watch it, where they talk about the durability of clothing, and David Rose is absolutely horrified by that concept. Anyway, very off topic. So in the future position, in the near future, we have the Two of Wands in the house of new moon eclipse. Expect powerful change. So the US government at the Area 51 already knows that these projects are going to work. And so their main focus is, again, manipulating the human body, both by birth and by brute force manipulation. So yeah, and they feel very confident in that. And this guy's got his sphere that he's making levitate in his right hand, and he's got his wand in his left hand. And the left is where we receive, the right is where we give. So interesting. So we have two new moons, both manifestation cards, right? New moon eclipse. So, oh wow, okay. So they are, first of all, they're very confident because they are on the verge of success for at least one of these projects, if not two, with the Two of Wands. It might actually be two of the at least three projects that we know about right now. They are on the verge of completion for two of them. And so I get this energy where I don't get the greatest energy from this. Like it looks like a great spread for the most part, but I don't get the greatest energy with this card right now. Wow. Yeah, with this new moon eclipse card, it's somebody is planning on using this power for the wrong purposes. Of course they are, right? Of course they are. Of course. That's how history has always gone, and humans have a hard time learning from their mistakes. When it comes to learning as a species, even learning individually, it's pretty hard for us, isn't it? But anyway, yeah, they're very confident about what's to come from this. They think that they're going to be able to, they think that they hold the fate of humanity in their hands with these projects right now. And they think that they hold the fate of other countries in their hands with these projects right now. They think that once, and this might be very long term, but once they see, they demonstrate the power that they are going to wield with these new enhanced human beings, that the world is basically going to bow down to them. And I don't think they're correct. From what I'm seeing in the rest of the spread, we'll get there, but I don't think that they realize, I don't think they know everything that they should know. Okay. And I think maybe, yeah, I'm hearing that other countries are already doing this and may have already accomplished this in secret. Okay. And the US is not even trying to play catch up. It's just that a lot of times in history, there's a name for this, and I don't remember what it is, but there's a phenomenon where at certain points in history, certain ideas will spontaneously kind of manifest, but in two separate places, in two unrelated people who don't know each other, don't know anything about each other. Right. So that's kind of what's going on there. With at least one of those projects, there's another country who's already succeeded at this and they don't even know it yet. So that's what they're kind of missing here. So yeah. So in the staff of the Celtic Cross, we have on the internal factors, the Four of Swords in the house of full moon in Sagittarius. Look at the bigger picture. So what's a bigger picture than the destiny of humanity? What's the big picture? Oh, there's fire. Okay. Yeah, I'm getting a lot about climate change. There's definitely, I think I'm even missing something from before about climate change. There's yet another project, and this is a little bit more benevolent, that they are very worried about climate change. There's things that the public does not know about climate change that if we did, there might be panic. And they are trying very hard to create a system which will solve climate change. And, I've recorded most of an episode already, but it's a little bit of a complicated one about artificial intelligence and the future of that for humanity. And the interesting fact that I'll give you from that is that artificial intelligence is going to be used to solve the climate change crisis as a whole. I don't know exactly how I have my ideas, but in one way or another, artificial intelligence will be responsible for saving us from climate change. I'm so certain of that. Like, I'm so certain of that. Yes, trees are natural oxygen makers, but we don't have enough of them. So we need something a little bit more powerful than trees, and that's another thing that they are working on. Because in the background of this Four of Swords, we have this guy who's sleeping, because the Four of Swords is often about rest, but he's sleeping and he doesn't see that his land is on fire in the background. Wow, I have never noticed that before in this card. Yeah, his land is on fire, so he's sleeping on the job. Like, he doesn't realize what's going on. So internally, they're learning more and more and more about climate change, and it's freaking them out. It's absolutely shooketh many people who previously would not have given a second thought to the environment. Okay, so let's continue, and I'll come back to this if need be. But so in the external factors, we have the Seven of Wands on the other side in the house of the South Node. Don't let your past hold you back. And indeed, this guy looks like he's kind of looking at the past, because there's like an empty field of war with some empty helmets and some shields on the ground. And it looks like this battle took place a while ago, and he's still looking at this battle. He's still looking back at this battle, and because he just simply cannot let go of it. And so there was a serious loss. There was a serious blow to the leaders of the United States' ego. That produced the necessary fire, we'll say, in the back of whoever came up with these projects to make them happen. And I think it took a lot of that to make this stuff happen, because some of this stuff that they're doing is very benevolent, is very much something that we need to have happen if we want to survive as a species. And now the US is like, especially at Area 51, these projects are very much looking back at the failures of humanity, even though I just said that we're not very good at learning from the past. At the same time, these people at Area 51, they're very well aware of the past. Unlike the people who might be pulling some strings there from outside of that, I wouldn't call it an organization, outside of that structure, that haven't learned, right? There's people who from outside of that building, from outside of these projects, that haven't learned, that are trying to pull some strings. And yet these people on the inside, they are very, very aware of what's happened in the past. And they know that if they allow themselves to continue without learning from these mistakes, they will suffer the consequences. I'm hearing that there's been several failed attempts at enhancing humans, which led to deaths. Wow. Yeah, there's been several attempts at enhancing humans at Area 51 that led to deaths. The thing is about this person pulling the strings is that they're the reason why it's continued, because there were scientists and researchers and people like that at Area 51 who said, no, we don't want to do this anymore. But the people pulling the strings said, sorry, yes, you are. You're going to keep doing it because you signed a contract, because we're the United States and you're a silly scientist. You're going to do what you're told. And so that's what they're doing. So in the possible outcome / the hopes and fears position, we have the devil on that side looking away from us in the house of the disseminating moon. Take time to breathe out. So there's something that's attached, something that we're refusing to let go of. And those are fossil fuels, I'm sure. But also those are, the bad sides of humanity. There's just these there's a conflict happening within the Area 51 of people who want to help humanity in the short term and the long term as a whole, not just the United States, but humanity as a whole. And then there's these bad actors who are saying, no, this and this and this are the priorities because money, money, money is our priority. Power, power, power is our priority. Not your silly environment, not your silly ethics, none of that. We want what we want and we're going to get it. And so I've got to give it to them that there is a benefit to that, is that whatever they're doing at Area 51 with both for the environment and even the genetic enhancements, because Spirit is telling me that somehow this could end up as a good thing for people. The thing is that without these bad actors pushing the ethical boundaries, we would not have made such strides in this research, in this secret research. We wouldn't have made so much strides. So while it doesn't make it right, it is what it is. It has helped us bypass these borders, which previously could not be bypassed. Okay. So in the outcome card, we have the Fool, card 0. In the house of the waxing moon, the energy is gaining momentum. So in the next year or so, big, big, big things are happening with that. Expect powerful change, new moon eclipse, and the waxing moon energy is gaining momentum with the Fool card. There's a shooting star there. There's, let's see, I'm going to pick up the card. The Fool card is all about new beginnings. So, wow. Okay, so although there are ethical problems with all of this stuff that they are doing, the conclusion that Spirit is coming to me with is that in the long run, it is all actually very much a good thing. Very much so. Because of things that even these bad actors don't really know about. They don't see how their actions are actually having a good influence. Not that they care. They don't care if it's having a good or bad influence. They really care about how it benefits them. But actually, what benefits them is going to ultimately lead to a benefit for humanity. Not necessarily the super soldier part, but definitely the climate change part. Okay? So, yeah. And then I want to say that we have the moon on the bottom of the deck, which is pretty... I don't always read that, but this time I definitely feel it is significant. And the moon is about fears, illusions, things that are hidden. Think about what happens during either an eclipse, which is what we actually see here on this card, or during the full moon, when there's a lot of light from the moon, but it's still not direct light from the sun. It's still not clear light. There's shadows. There's things we cannot see in the dark. And we are ultimately, as visually driven creatures, we find what we can't see dangerous and scary. And so that's kind of what the moon talks about. And it talks about things that are secret, fears, So Spirit is trying to tell us with this, I think, that a lot of what's going on at Area 51 is based on our deepest fears as humans. Is trying to get solutions to really more to quell the fear than to get the solution, is what I'm hearing. Like we're more concerned about like gaining some kind of reassurance that everything is going to be okay. That's what motivates us more than the actual outcome, if that makes any sense. So I'm going to get some Boolean cards and we're going to see what else we can pick at from Area 51. So Spirit, please give us clear messages about Area 51, the projects that are going on there with these Boolean oracle cards. Give me some more information to elaborate on this reading. We have despotism, We have intelligence. Just discovery. Wow. So this is really, really confirming what I was saying about how there are people pulling the strings, trying to gain knowledge, trying to gain power through discovery, through the discovery of new techniques, of new ways of surviving, of new ways of fighting, of new ways of whatever. And Spirit is definitely confirming what I just said. That is incredible. Really, it is. And if you aren't familiar with this podcast, you can go to my Instagram at the Homo's Journey, all one word, and you will find the images of this tarot and oracle spread. Okay. And we have partida, which is like departure. Okay. Departure of what? Treason. Okay. So there is interesting. So I'm getting that there might be a leak that happens or an attempt at a leak from Area 51, and this person's going to end up on death row. I don't know if this is related. I mean, I guess it is in some way or another, but I'm not sure if it's directly related to the main, the main thread of this reading. It might just be like, one of the details that will come out one day, in the history books. There's lots of moon cards. So we have the moon again. Oh, yeah. And then we have a sun card here, the nativity. With this nativity card, this means rebirth, renewal. It means hope. It's a really good sign for this trader, actually, and for the world at large, especially with this blue card, which the blue card is probably my favorite card in all of tarot and oracles, because it is the card of positivity. It is the card that says, no matter what problems you have seen in this reading, everything is going to be more than okay. Things are going to turn out to your advantage. Okay? So first of all, with this trader, with this person who is going to leak information from Area 51, the public it's going to be too late, right? And the public is going to know about what is going on. I don't know if this person is going to leak all the projects or just one of them, but regardless, the public is not going to accept that this person be put on trial when we know very well that we should have known about whatever this is way long before. Okay. So I really think that this person is going to be okay. I'm actually hearing that maybe this person is going to seek refuge in another country, maybe Russia, maybe France. I heard Zimbabwe, Japan. So, but regardless, this person is going to be okay. But this blue card is also speaking to me because the lovers. And the lovers is screaming to me about genetic enhancement. And it's saying to me that there's been quite a few, there's been quite a few mistakes that have happened with these genetic enhancements. This program has been going on a long time. And they have been feeling like maybe it's impossible to genetically enhance humans to bring on a new evolution of human, because every time they do, emotional problems crop up and the person is emotionally unstable. I'm hearing autism. I'm also hearing, though, more often, I'm hearing psychopathy. And, while they might be trying to create killing machines, there's no benefit to breeding psychopaths, because if you do, these people don't have any moral code, right? And they will do whatever benefits them and only them. And they don't want that, because if they're making killing machines and these killing machines decide to turn on them, and if they are psychopaths, they will, then it's going to be bad. But I'm also hearing that a lot of these experiments have failed with the end of the subject's life. Wow. Okay. However, the blue card to me says that they have finally kind of found a balance. With the Lover's card here, they finally found a balance. And that's why I said earlier they're getting very close to achieving this goal, because they finally found a way to avoid these cognitive and psychological problems that crop up when they create these genetically enhanced humans. Okay. So let's see if there's anything else. I think I already mentioned that there's several moon cards, especially moon themed cards in the Beline Oracle that I pulled. And that's funny because we have the moon card in tarot. So I really think that, again, this thing about fear, this thing about like, if this information comes out, like they are so afraid of what will happen. So keep an ear out, keep an open mind. Don't believe everything you hear and take this all with a grain of salt once again. But I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Homo's Journey, where we do talk about emotional healing and things like that. But sometimes we'll have fun. We'll talk about something quite different like this. So today we hacked into Area 51, and I hope you enjoyed the journey. And I cannot wait to talk to you again next time when we return to an emotional healing topic. And until then, you guys stay safe, stay blessed, and love yourselves. Bye.